Hello everyone, this is Pri and you're listening to House of Rep episode 18. Today we're going to talk about Line of Duty. It's an action thriller movie. Check it out.
Hey guys, this is Ray. I'm joined by Pri. She did the intro for us and she was really great. We are on episode 18. So season 1 is cracking on. So we're making the magic here at T.O.R, aka the House of Rep. So I'm your host Ray, and we're going to be reviewing today Line of Duty. Now this was a wicked Netflix film that I just saw the logline for. And then I saw that it was starring Aaron Eckhart. Now, Aaron Eckhart's one of my favorite actors. So he blew me away when he played Two-Face, and one of my favorite films of him is The Core. If you've never seen it, it's about restarting the Earth's core after it stops basically doing its combustion or whatever. It's like a sort of pseudoscience film, but it's got amazing action in it. It has Hilary Swank, it has him in it, and a few other really wicked players. So it's a beautiful film. I really liked it a lot. I love those, like what I call silly science, but really fun kind of action disaster films, and that's what The Core is about. Line of Duty is a really good film because it's an action thriller. It's produced by Saban Films. It's directed by Stephen C. Miller, and he did a fantastic job on this film. It's shot really well, and it was written by Jeremy Drysdale, and was the cinematography, if I remember correctly, was done by Brandon Cox. So it's a really good package. This film, and it's got a great cast. Tell me what you think about this film. Let's just jump right straight into it.
It is definitely a great movie. As Ray was saying, this is a great action thriller. The start of the movie was great. I believe Aaron was playing as the cop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then obviously at the beginning he was like chilling with his little boy
yeah. He's
who
got like
was
this that he hangs out
yeah,
with.
and who was wearing his glasses as
Yeah,
well.
he's like stole his glasses. Yeah.
So yeah, the plot is really good because at the end of the day, I think that bad guy was like taking revenge.
Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna obviously be posting, sorry, a little zinger on the top of this to say it's a spoiler. So check the film out, then watch this review. Or if you don't want to see the film yet, but you just want to hear us talk about the film, and then hopefully that gives you incentive to watch the film. Then check it out, but just be warned that this has spoilers in it.
Yeah.
So the setup for the plot is really cool. I'll let Pre talk about it. So Pre, set it up for them.
I was just looking at his IMDb. They have rated it quite low, like 5.4 out of 10. But
Mm.
overall, when we watched the movie, it was really good movie
I
according to
liked it. I
me.
really liked it.
And when I saw the villain, Ben McKenzie, when I
Yeah,
saw for the first time, I was like,
yeah.
he looked familiar. I was
I
trying
couldn't
to,
even like recognize him the first time I saw him because he
yeah.
has this kind of like redneck kind of hillbilly look as this kind of meth army dude, and I've only ever seen him as the younger James Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. Well, he's not a commissioner yet at that point. He's just like a detective.
Hmm.
So Gotham was this series that was, trying to be a little bit different. It was set before Batman ever, becomes Batman. Bruce is still a kid, and it's
Hmm.
all about the adventures of James Gordon. Now, it started off really strong. Like the
Yeah.
first season was very good, but I didn't really like kind of really was interested in seeing the remaining seasons. And from what I read, like all the different kinds of wikias and things about the story, with Bruce having his proto bat suit design, the direction of the show, it kind of felt a little bit forced and strange. I'll do a separate podcast about the show later on, but Ben was a standout thing about that.
I have the thing is that when I saw his first series was this OC Orange
Yeah.
County.
Hmm.
I saw this when I was like in my college time, and I was trying to recollect like I've seen this guy somewhere. Then I had to see the cast, and I was like, whoa, yeah, this is a guy from OC. I never
Hmm.
imagined Ray
Mm.
that he could do such nice action movie because
Hmm.
OC is more like
Mm.
a no, not like an action.
It's a kind of series like
And
about couples and things, right?
yeah,
And their
yeah.
dynamics. Kind of like the classic Dawson's Creek. and shows like that, right? Like very Beverly Hills 90210,
Something,
stuff kind of
something
like that.
similar to that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean we've been deep in Dynasty, like like I
The
used,
new one,
yeah,
the new
the
one.
remake. So we love all the kind of the sort of like the cattiness between the characters, the kind of duplicity and the way they fight and stuff. So they're really funny and really like fun kind of characters, and it's a pretty interesting show. It's cool. It's like the old school one.
So yeah, it's a good thing what Ben was portraying in this movie, like doing this action, taking the revenge,
Hmm.
and then for what the cop has done to his sister, isn't it?
Yeah, the setup is really good. I
Yeah.
mean, the Newton brothers did the music, so it's very ominous and kind of like has a build up. And
Mm.
then the way the film works out is that everyone's got their own arc. So Frank's basically trying to carry on his life after basically feeling disgraced
Yeah,
about
about killing that
um
little
yeah, it's
boy,
like there was a kid, there was a dad
little
or
boy.
something, and he was
Yeah,
high.
he was
He
drunk or
had
something.
he was high on meth, and he had a kid. And then when Frank took the shot, he used the kid as a shield, and then the kid got shot and killed, but he wasn't to blame for what happened. But
Yeah, but he feels bad about
he,
that.
yeah, he feels guilty. So it looks like it destroyed his marriage, and then he's just been
Not
living
sure
alone.
about that.
At the start of the film, he has a wedding band, but he leaves it at home. So it looks like
Mm.
he doesn't have a marriage anymore. So that was one of the little details that I picked up on. He's kept himself in really good shape, personally, the character, as well as Aaron Eckhart. He still looks kind of really great,
I
and
like the way he started in the morning, like everything
yeah,
arranged, everything so
it
organized,
feels like
like
he has like an OCD. He wants everything to be neat and stuff, and he's got some sort of organizational kind of mindset. He's a very organized person, but also his personality is very jovial, considering he has this redemption, this kind of feeling of redemption he has. He's not even really supposed to kind of engage with the criminal. What happens is that there's a kidnapping. There's an officer played by Giancarlo Esposito. Now he's a Esposito. He's a very good actor. He plays Vogue, and
yeah.
Vogue basically is trying to get his daughter back. So she's been kidnapped because of basically he took out a meth lab house that his family were running. But for some reason, their sister got trapped downstairs and drowned because of a
And for
leaked pipe.
64 minutes, they didn't
Yeah.
go
So
down.
they didn't go down to kind of save her, and she drowned. So the brothers, who are called the Keller brothers, now the other actor who plays the first Keller brother, I don't remember his name, but
Is it
basically,
David? David
um,
Shay?
David Shea maybe played him. I can't remember, but I know that basically Ben plays Dean. So Dean looks like he's got some kind of army ranger or military background because he makes improvised explosive devices, which he kind of traps Frank in later. When he fights Frank, he uses a lot of CQC, close quarters combat, stuff. So that kind of conflicts with Frank's training. Frank looks like he takes Brazilian. I was rather Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So he does basically like all kinds of different styles to try and subdue Dean Keller. Now, another great thing about this film is you got Courtney Eaton. Now, I recognize Courtney straight away because she was one of um, the guy's slave girls in Mad Max. So that guy, the main dude that everyone loves, that Furiosa betrays. She was in that, so she was basically one of the breeders. That they were like his prize breeders, and they were trying to get away from him. So she kind of like had a little bit of a bit part in that film,
Hmm.
but in this film she really gets to shine. She plays this like a live vlogging
Reporter.
reporter.
I like this fact that they did the live streaming. I
Yeah,
mean, it's so happening nowadays,
very
the
much
live
so.
streaming and everything. And they were doing the news broadcasting with the team up with that lady. I mean, I didn't get her name.
Dinah
Or
Meyer. So Dinah
yeah?
Meyer plays Ruth Carter in this. Dinah Meyer is an amazing actress from Starship Troopers and
No,
like
no. I
Birds of
mean,
Prey.
with Courtney Eaton, Jessica
Oh,
Liu.
sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jessica
I mean,
Liu plays
Dynamire
Clover, her
is
friend.
yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these
yeah,
two were like
yeah.
the live
They have their
streaming.
own kind of underground
Exactly.
streaming news kind of service with like their
Yeah.
scanners and their tools and stuff to get the scoops. Their
I
phone
mean,
with
the
the
way they coordinated like was
yeah.
so cool.
It was very
I mean, she
cool.
was like the computer girl, like
Yeah,
figuring out
yeah,
like what's
yeah,
happening,
yeah.
like the
The person
internet.
in the chair, they call it
Yeah, and
the
Courtney was like in the
yeah
field running
Overwatch.
out, and what's happening, the action,
Yeah.
and the way Courtney like team up with Aaron was also really good. I
Mm.
mean, they made a really good team, and it was funny when Aaron was literally running after that first guy, that first.
That bit was wicked because when we first saw the film, we like the plot wasn't revealed to us straight away about
Yeah,
the Keller brothers wanting to get revenge. So originally it was just this guy. We thought he was like a kidnapper or like a murdering pedophile kind of character, and he
yeah,
had kidnapped this girl. And then suddenly Frank is basically drawn into this foot chase. Now the way they filmed this foot chase was excellent. So it was really handheld, it was shaky, it was really energetic and kinetic, and I loved it. As a filmmaker and as a director myself, this is what I love to do, and this is the kind of films I want to make on the biggest scale. So even like some of the films I've wrote, like Worst Case Scenario, which is about a mercenary called Bishop Merrick, he chases after a scientist. You never find out what's in the suitcase, but basically there's a massive fight that happens over it. So these are the type of like action beats that film is going to have, which this film has, and that's what's really good. So it's like the cinematography, the action directing, the stunt work, everything was planned out. Even the production design, costumes, like Frank's outfit, the guns that they use, everything was really well done. It was shot on a really good budget. And I'm liking how Saban Films is coming in and becoming a sort of like a production house studio for these type of kind of like mini major films, and they're very good. So they're not super budget, but they've got a great A-list player. They've got like budgets. I'm estimating and sort of spitballing the kind of budget here, but we're looking at maybe like 10, maybe 15 mil for this film, so it's not too super big budget, but it just gets the job done really well. So all the major players are there, and this was shot in Birmingham, Alabama. So it was a really good kind of like use of locations and set work. There were just amazing kind of like location work and action beats in this film. What did you think of Courtney's performance as the reporter?
I mean, I think she did well. I mean, I wouldn't say she was bad or anything. I mean,
Mm,
I did like the pairing up with Aaron as well.
mm,
And at the same time, when going back to the plot, when Aaron was running after the first bad guy, I didn't get his name again. I
mm.
mean, he was still a bit reluctant to, actually point the gun to him.
Yeah,
He didn't want
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it, but he didn't have a choice again that
Mm,
time, and he
mm.
shot. And again, he was feeling bad about that. And
Yeah, he felt very
obviously,
guilty.
Volk was like, you have to like off duty for 2 days. What was
Yeah,
he
he was
saying?
suspending him basically for like screwing up his chance to get his daughter, which I felt was like the one kind of glaring, I wouldn't say negative that I would put on this film is that, you have to take a lot of some of the plot with like a pinch of salt, because first of all, Vogue wouldn't be on the case because he would have been too close to it. So what they would have done maybe is like pulled him off the case,
Mm,
and made him more of an observer, and then they would have had another person, maybe his senior
mm,
or another subordinate, actually deal with the kidnappers. So I thought that was a bit stretching the truth a little bit plot wise.
mm.
Um,
I also like the fact when they went to that house, and then later Aaron found out it was a trap. And before they thought like that little girl might be there, isn't it?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
literally
yeah.
when they went there
Yeah,
and when they
because even
saw,
Vogue went to the wrong area. He went to like a
oh yeah,
construction
that was
site.
the
So,
first place.
yeah,
And then they went to the house,
yeah, yeah.
and they thought it might be there. Then
Mm,
Aaron found out it was a trap,
mm.
and literally, and that fight there, he was coming with the car. This guy, what's his name again?
Ben
Ben.
McKenzie, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
That bit was wicked when he comes with his Jeep. So he has a jacked up Jeep, and then he jumps basically a whole row of cars and smashes into the police.
talking about the Jeep. Remember the first car when Aaron went with that small little,
Yeah, that was funny. Now,
that electric car?
it was strange. It was a Fiat 500, but the electric version.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that is Ava Brooks's car. Now, Ava
Yeah,
Brooks is Courtney Eaton's character.
yeah.
So what happens is that because Penny gets kind of pulled from active duty and his service revolver gets taken, sorry, service pistol gets taken away, he basically starts piecing together evidence. He's like, the guy was going for his car. So they go to the car, they get these fake IDs and passport pictures. Then he needs a car to get to, because he can't hotwire the guy's car, which is like really funny. He's like saying, I can't hotwire this car. It's not like the movies. Then
Mm.
they take her car, but then these people are like harassing them, because they're live streaming and saying, hey, you got like this silly car, you look silly. And then this truck gets in the way and he crashes.
I don't think they were
Yeah.
harassing them. They were just like, you guys are popular or
No,
something.
they were goading them. They were kind of making fun of
Okay.
him, and then, but the way they were driving was very reckless, and that's what
Yeah.
made him crash.
Oh yeah.
So they crashed, and then the silly part is that there's some really good cars there, but then he borrows a
But
UPS
at the
van.
end, the third car, he
Yeah, yeah, he
took the
takes the
most
GTO, which is really
amazing
cool.
one of
Yeah,
that the muscle car, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
It's
You
like
love muscle cars like
that was
me,
a really
so
really cool car,
yeah.
which it finally took it in the third
Yeah,
round.
it was a really nice GTO, and I really love GTOs. They're very cool cars. The guy was a real kind of jerk though. The dude who was the actual driver in it, and he had to pull him out and steal it. Um,
But do you remember when he was asking politely?
yeah, he was asking him nicely. The guy wouldn't let. I was wondering if that was actually Steven or someone in a cameo. Like the actual director, because I would like to cameo like that in some of my bigger films, like play
Hmm.
this guy whose car gets stolen, or like something like that. But it's like really fun. The film's overall tone, the script is really good. The script beats are quick. Overall arc is very good. Each character.
Yeah.
It's a very quick film. It's a great kind of popcorn movie. You can just sit and just watch it. It's not too complicated.
Hmm.
It doesn't have like a super deep kind of like thought provoking kind of like metaphysical plot. It's just a kind of like roller coaster ride action thriller, and that's what I love.
It's a good movie to chill, especially in this weather, like windy outside, just to,
Mm,
have a popcorn, cozy up,
yeah.
just chill, enjoy it. And yeah, it's a good movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, like
And
just
one thing I just remembered about the plot as well, when he actually gave up when they were in that helicopter
mm,
and he thought like he actually killed a second child again.
yeah,
And
that was
then
a deep moment.
it was a very deep moment. And then he realized like, it was like 6 feet under, was it, you said?
Yeah, because what they have a face off on the helicopter, and then spoiler alert, Ben McKenzie dies. But he leaves behind clues that she's 6 feet under, and what
Yeah,
actually
and enjoy the view. And then
yeah.
they
So then
realized it
he's
was a
able to
lake
piece together
view.
that the
Yeah.
that the girl's been left at the
And
cemetery.
the best part is like when Aaron and what's the name again? I lost it.
Courtney
Yeah,
Eaton.
sorry.
Yeah,
So when they actually went to the cemetery and they were digging and everybody
that bit is
came in,
so
that was
wicked.
so emotional. Like it was
Yeah, even
really
I
nice.
felt so pumped because like
Yeah,
the journey that they took. This is what I love about this film, yeah,
about the live
because it
streaming and
starts
people.
off
Yeah.
about yeah. Sorry, Pri, you were saying. Um, Go ahead and say what you
No,
need to
no, you
say.
go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that when people start off, they're watching news and everything kind of fed to them in a filtered way. And what these millennial kids, the characters, are trying to do is give a kind of unfiltered, real kind of like news coverage. That's what she was trying to do. But then it became super real because she got into it, and got involved. And everybody's like watching this thing unfold, and then at the end they all like the people who are watching help him,
Yeah.
and help Courtney dig up the daughter, so that she doesn't drown. And that bit when he hugs her and he saves her, that's a really feel good moment. That was brilliant. That like made me feel so cool because it felt like humans come together, yeah, and
When
triumph over
and in time
evil.
of need, they actually come out together to
Yeah.
help people.
And I
And
strongly believe in that as a rep knight. We all do. We help people and we defend people and we create magic. And that's really what the rep knights are about.
yeah, I mean, it was a really good part of the scene of all the movie scene. I think that one was the best, like a really
Mm.
touching, like when everybody came in, and they shown as well, like from different community as well, like everybody from different community coming
Yeah,
together to save that little girl.
yeah.
That was a
Different
real,
races, different
yeah,
communities coming together.
yeah,
For me, always, ever since I've been a child, I've always found like us subgrouping people into particular race and background groups strange. Because I always like that whole Star Trek philosophy that we're one human race, which is why I always love
exactly,
Star Trek
yeah.
because they don't recognize that anymore. I remember when Patrick Stewart was talking once about um, like why his character is bald. And he said that Gene Roddenberry was asked by people during a press conference for the next generation why they didn't cure baldness and why Patrick Stewart wasn't bald. And he goes, in the future, they don't care. Like, people don't care about these things anymore. They can do it, but they don't need to do it if they don't want to do it. So that's what's brilliant about Star Trek. It's, very optimistic, and it shows us what we can be, and all of us have that in us, that ability to, you know, um, tame that selfishness, that kind of wickedness that we can have in large numbers, and in even larger numbers, we can come together harmoniously and become this amazing, beautiful sort of group of humanity. Like, we're united with our common, our universal commonality, and I love that. And that's what's great about filmmaking too. And that's
Yeah.
why we love filmmaking a lot, because it brings everybody together. It doesn't matter what your background is or where you
Yes.
come from,
Yeah.
what type of, you know, like whatever kind of status, what they'd like to say status of your upbringing, you could be, you could come from nothing and
Yeah.
still make something. And it's a universal language, and that's what I really love about film.
I mean, at the end of the day, I completely agree with you on what you said just now. Like, it's one human race at the end
Mm,
of the day. We come together,
mm.
we do together, and we are in it together. And I just love that scene.
Exactly, and that scene was amazing. It was basically a culmination of everything that people feel inside, deep down. People are never like this, with all the stuff that's going on in the world. I digress a little bit, but it's very important to just put my thoughts down about this. There's a lot of unnecessary hate in this world, and you know, with all of this stuff and us kind of coming together, I like to see it when we progress and we, keep pushing forward, keep progressing humanity. It's really great, and I like this film because it kind of had that kind of underlying message.
Definitely.
Mm.
I also like this one part that I like the most again. Do you remember when Courtney and Aaron were complimenting each other, like, that you're a real reporter, and
Mm.
then she was saying to Aaron, like, you are the real cop, and then when the actual cop came, oh, here comes the cop, and
Here
when the
comes the real
reporters
cops,
go,
here comes
oh,
the
here
real
comes the
reports.
reporter.
I mean,
That
their
was
back and forth is so good. I mean, their chemistry is really decent. Even when the kind of film starts off, they're very antagonistic to each other because she kind of like jumps him when he's at a period of kind of shock and awe after shooting the first Keller brother in self-defense. So what happens is that she just kind of snoops and jumps on him, and he basically says, "Look, in a fraction of a second it can take for me to make a decision. Don't judge me before you're put in that situation."
yeah,
And it's a very, very, very good line. It's a really well delivered line, and I have to say, there's a lot of things in this film that are really good. Like, so Stan, Selfast, he did the editing, so he cut it really tight, and it was really, the beats were good. Like, he was using the right footage at the right point to tell the story. There were bits where the live stream kind of ends, and then we, as a, like that kind of ominous observer that can see anything, can continue to see the fight in action. But from the audience's perspective, if they were watching the stream at home, they would have missed a lot of things that we got to see. And that's what makes
mm,
the film kind of nice, that we're that kind of observer. We can see every action scene, every bit. Like, that's a very interesting thing about that film. And yeah, I just recommend it. I think it's a pretty decent film. So, Pri, you want to rate this?
I like this movie, so I'll definitely go for 4.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would give it a 4 too, so I guess it aggregated 4 shields from us. It is exactly what it needs to be. So, from a director's point of view, I'm a writer, director, and producer. From this point of view, me putting my director's hat on, shot competently, shot on budget, shot really well. Cast, crew, action, everything set tight, editing tight, post production tight. Now, from a story perspective, from an audience level, if I take my director's hat off, it just was fun. I like the action. I like the beats. I like the back and forth between the people. So it's a good film. It's like one of those, I wouldn't even call this a B movie. I would just call this like a great kind of like, back in the day, there were like these things called B movies, There were these like kind of direct to DVD movies, like films that wouldn't get a cinematic release when they're slightly lower budget. This just feels like one of those kind of like slightly lower budget films to keep people kind of working and trying to tell a story, but they do a good job, and it's really great. So yeah, just an awesome film. I highly recommend it. Yeah, and so we're gonna just wrap this podcast up. I want to thank Pri for joining me as
Thank
always. It's great
you.
to do podcasts with you, babe. And we'll catch you on the next episode of Thor.
19.
Yeah. So see you all
See ya,
on the
guys.
next one.
Bye.
Bye.